Hi, beautiful people. Here are the 3 steps that you need to use as a teacher, a parent, or a caregiver in order to avoid abusing a child. We know that in today's world, a lot of children are being abused, especially physically. And so I'm talking here about physical abuse, torture, beating, slapping, kicking, whatever form of physical abuse. That's what I'm talking about. So the reason why I'm talking about this topic today is because about a week ago, a video surfaced online where a teacher was seen torturing one of the children that was placed under his care. So he tortured this child to the point where the child could not work, and everywhere on the child's body was wounds. The child was bleeding, and that teacher was arrested. Now, we might think in our minds that the teacher is doing so because that student is not his kid, right? Yet another video surfaced, I think 2 days ago. This happened in an African country, and what happens is a video surfaced where a woman was beating the child. That is like she was just like slapping the child, pushing the child. And why was she doing this? She was doing this because she was teaching the child how to write. I think the number 60, yes, how to write 60. So she told the child, write 60. The child could not write 60. It's like the child kept making an error. So she was really frustrated and she was really mad, and we saw how she was slapping the child, pushing the child, and she kept insisting 6 and 0, 60, write 60. Now, the woman as well was arrested, and when she was taken into custody, she did say that that was actually her kid. Now, I don't know if it's her biological child or adopted child. However, she is a parent. Now, we see that the abuse of, a kid happens both with parents and teachers. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is the 3 steps that you can use to avoid that. Because the truth is, sometimes kids might get us to the point where it's like we cannot have it no more, right? It's like you just get frustrated, and many of the teachers or parents sometimes hit on these kids very hard out of frustration. It's not because they hate these kids, it's not because they cannot do their job. However, I'm going to give us 3 steps that we can use to manage situations like that, or to avoid situations like that from arising. So number 1 thing that you want to do is to first of all check yourself, as a parent. What do you think about yourself as a parent or as a teacher? What do you think about yourself? There are a lot of people who don't even know who they are. First, I want to say all of this can be wrapped under something we call self-esteem. There are a lot of parents and teachers who have very low self-esteem about themselves. And when you have low self-esteem, it is very possible that you have limitation when it comes to being patient, right? Because most people with low self-esteem, this is what they think about themselves. They feel like everyone except them should be able to get things done right. So it's like you're expecting of people what you cannot give yourself, right? It's like that parent that could not attain maybe their dreams of, let's say, becoming a teacher, and now he or she is imposing on the kids to become teachers just because they could not achieve that dream of theirs. So now they are projecting their fear, They are projecting their pain, their misery on their kids. And this can also be the same scenario with teachers who just maybe growing up, or maybe in their life, they attach their self-esteem to maybe education. Like, okay, when they pass, that is what makes them to feel like they are something, maybe to feel love. So with that now, it is hard for them to express love to a child, even when that child is failing. It is hard, not knowing that love to a child has to be something that is unconditional. Maybe the love they received growing up was a kind of conditional love, right? But when you receive unconditional love, it increases your self-esteem. So what am I saying? Once, as a parent or a teacher or a caregiver, once you've looked at your own life and you ask yourself, where am I running short? And you identify those areas of your life where you're running short, you have to accept them. Like, oh yes, I did not have the love that I wanted. I was not given the opportunity to fail. I was not given the opportunity to make mistakes and understand that mistakes do not define me. So I'm not going to put this too much pressure on a child just because I want them to succeed, so you can feel better about your own self. So you're projecting your failure on the child because you want the child to succeed by all means. The truth is that when you do like that, you instead make the child to become a permanent failure. Let me take the scenario of this mother trying to teach the child how to write the number 60. Let's say you're teaching your child how to write the number 60. You as a mom, in your mind, it's like, if your child does not succeed academically, they are a failure to society. They are a failure to you, right? So you keep pushing the limit, failing to understand that failure is part of success. If this child cannot do this at this point, this is the step that you can take. First, after looking at your own life and accepting that, okay, I lack the love, I lack the respect growing up as a child, just because maybe I was unable to, maybe you failed and the treatment that they gave you was not the best, the love that you received was not there, or maybe society has placed, those who experience failure as permanent failures. I don't know, whatever is going on in your mind. And that is why you're trying to avoid the situation from repeating itself again. However, the way you're going about it is the wrong way, okay? Because if that child is unable to write the number 60 that you want them to write, but you keep insisting, now what happens? You get frustrated because you're not getting the result you want, right? You get frustrated and you're hitting on that child. And what might happen? Now you're using your hand. One doesn't know. Maybe you might start using chairs, using planks, whatever is close to you, you might use to hit on that child. And we have heard cases where children have been abused and some of them even died. Children are not as strong as we are, parents or adults. So do not allow a child to push you into frustration where you have to retaliate the way some of us parents do, right? We have to make sure that our children do not take us off limits. And so if you find yourself in that situation where maybe you're telling a child to do something and they cannot do it, or they are not getting it, so the first step that I want you to do is first to identify that I might be the problem here, not necessarily this child, right? Once you accept that, okay, maybe I'm the problem in this situation, you the adult, because the child is just 3 years old. The child that you're trying to get him to write is just 3 years old. You as an adult, you're reasoning more than that child. So take the responsibility of the situation, take control of the situation. Tell yourself, I am responsible, right? You take the responsibility. Number two, you tell yourself, I know I want this child to succeed. However, if this child is not getting what I am teaching them right now, I am not going to keep insisting, because I don't want to get to the point of frustration, right? And understand that even if they don't get it now, it doesn't mean they will not get it tomorrow. Maybe you shouting at them, you insisting, maybe they're not even interested in that activity at the moment, and you're shouting and you're pushing them, you're beating them, just gets even the child frustrated. It instills fear in that child. And even if the child want to write, the child will be lost of what to write, because now the child will go from focusing on writing to focusing on your behavior. So now your behavior in that situation, all the aggravations that you have will affect that child. And so the child will not be able to get the answer right, even if they were supposed to get it. Okay, so I just want you to be calm. The second thing is be calm. Be calm in that situation. And what you can do is switch activities. Okay, maybe you switch to something else. Maybe you can play with the child, just get the child off whatever you guys were doing. Maybe you can play with the child, and then later on you can ask the child, okay, can we go back to these activities? If possible, you put options, of two things that you want the child to choose from, and make sure that the activity that you want the child to choose from is between those two. And if the child chooses something else, then you guys can have an agreement. Let's say, for example, the child's name is Mary or Peter. You're gonna say, Peter, after we do these activities, then we are going to do these other activities where you're going to write the number 60. Do we have a deal? Then the child is gonna tell you, yes, we have a deal. And trust me, after you do the fun activity that the child wants, it's going to be easy. Now when you're about to do what you want the child to do, you guys are going to do it. So what am I saying? All I'm saying is that treat children with respect as human beings, because raising children, you're not raising them to become children that they will never have their own opinion. You're actually raising children to become adults, right? So that was just like the steps that I gave. And number one, take responsibility of the situation, take control of the situation. And number two, be calm, and you switch activities. You go to something fun that the child might be interested in. And number three, you give the child choices. And if the child, after that, you give the child choices, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to come back to what we were doing, or do you want something else? And if the child chooses to go back to what you were doing, good. But if the child decides to go with something else, then you just tell the child, after we do what you want, we are going to go back to the activity. And trust me, this works every time. So I don't want you to see your children just as children, but see them like adults. Give them opportunity to make choices as well, because when you do that, you give children what we call confidence to voice their opinion, right? And if their opinions are not good, there is a way that you as a parent can help them out of that, because kids are learning from you, and how you react is the same way they are going to react in the world. So you want to make sure that you love your kids unconditionally. That way they feel loved in spite of whether they succeed in life or they fail in life. Let them always have the opportunity to know that mama loves them so much. because the love of a mother in a child's life will take that child through life forever. Setting a great foundation for a child is setting the child up for success. Okay, so I hope that this video helped you out there as a mom. So if there's anything you learned in this video, let me know. And also, if there's any topic you want me to talk about, let me know. I'm going to, it's not really a program, but from time to time I'm going to be talking about how to raise confidence and kids with high self-esteem, because we need that in our society. Most of the kids that you see doing the wrong things in society is kids that lack love, lack the confidence, and so they try to do whatever they are doing just so they can find relevance. But if you make a child to understand that their relevance is not attached to their success, is not attached to whatever is outside of them, that child is going to be a champion, right? And even if that child fails outside, the child will never give up, because what you have put in them as a mother is very important and is going to take them all through life. Like my kids, if you ask them, when you fail, what do you do? Do you give up or do you try again? They are going to tell you, we try again. Failure is a part of success. So don't be too hard on yourself as a teacher, and don't be too hard on yourself as a parent or a caregiver. Kids are very amazing. All we need as parents is patience and self-control. I pray that God Almighty is going to heal the hearts of every parent that is going through some kind of frustration right now with their kids. And I pray that God is going to meet you at the point of your needs. And I pray that you're going to raise kids that you're going to be proud of. Have a blessed and wonderful rest of your day. God bless you, and I will see you in my next video. Ciao.